Hi folks, and welcome back to the plot. It is a truly miserable day, but today the plan is it's the big cleanup on the new plot. I'm not actually sure how long it's going to take, but we've got a skip coming in a couple of days. So I need to really go around collecting all sorts of rubbish that's been left on the new plot. And as well, like I recently mentioned, I'm sure I've got plenty of stuff on here that is ready for the skip as well. The greenhouses are absolutely full of rubbish, so that's the good news. It's very exciting. The bad news is the weather is absolutely horrible. There's been a little break in the rain, just starting again, and all week is looking horrible, but all week I've got the week off work. So basically I'm going to be full-time allotment in theory. Anyway, we'll see how that actually goes, but I've got a lot of time down here and I've got a new plot which is hopefully going to be transformed by the end of the week. Folks, take a good look because hopefully this will be unrecognisable in just a few days from now. It's going to be really challenging filming today because of the rain, like I say. So, you know, I'm just going to get stuck in and be giving you the occasional update, I think, in between the spots of rain. I'm going to start probably just dragging all the rubbish up to the gate there and we'll get going. I'll tell you what, as well, another little observation, this is just complete aside, nothing to do with the cleanup, but I was just in the new greenhouse and it's much, much cooler than the greenhouse on the right. I'm assuming that that is mostly because the one on the left here is kind of open to the ground, you know, so the ground is, I guess, absorbing a lot of the heat that is otherwise just kind of reflected by the stone pads in there. Can you tell I'm procrastinating and putting off getting stuck in? It really is just one of those horrible days. I'm in full waterproofs today, even got the waterproof trousers. Bit of time later, I think it's been about an hour and I'm just really taking my time. There's almost no one here today. It's like a gorgeous still Monday morning and it's very rare that I get to spend mornings on the plot and it's just wonderful. It's so calm, so I'm just kind of chilling out, pottering around, finding all these weird little things to do. You can see the pile is starting to pile up. I'll show you that in a bit, but there's something I've just seen that literally stopped me in my tracks and made me go, oh my God. And it's kind of inconsequential, it's kind of small, but down here I have just spotted my first little primrose has come into flower. I'm so happy. One of my primroses, well, my only primrose, has come into flower and it's just gorgeous. It's so sweet. And I didn't have much hope for this. This is actually one that was gifted to me. I planted this in an earlier episode and lots of the things that I planted in that episode died a horrible death. And it's so sweet to see this. That has honestly just put the biggest smile on my face. Just one little flower, but hopefully a sign of kind of promise. I want that to self-seed and spread throughout the area under the trees where we're hoping to create both a naturalized wildflower meadow type thing, but also just with a little bit of kind of bulb planting for spring. It's the first time I've ever actually grown a flower like that, really. And, you know, that's overwintered and actually made it through, so just incredible. I'm just looking at the new plot here. And one thing I did forget to mention at the start, I'm gonna get all of these bottles out, which is gonna take a little while because I mentioned in a previous episode, those and my lawnmower just do not mix well. So I'm gonna carry on and then I'll show you all the stuff that's going in the skip. Well, I'll tell you what folks, these bottles are a lot harder to get out than I thought, and I had a lot of comments from people saying that these kind of bottle beds can be used as kind of like to create a greenhouse effect and warm the temperature around your plants, but the ones that I've seen that do that, they are not like this. These are wine bottles that are submerged you know, 85% of the bottle is underground, and they have definitely used this just as a kind of an edge, just to kind of mark where to stop weeding instead of wooden boards. And there's no way that these are going to be creating any warmth for the plants. I could possibly repurpose these, but to be honest with you, I've got 2 greenhouses. I've got a petrol mower that, you know, is going to argue with these. I think it's kind of dangerous, you know. I really don't like the idea of tripping over and falling into a load of glass bottles, so these just aren't for me. One thing that's quite nice about the skips is that there's always an equal amount of stuff going in the skip and stuff getting pulled out of the skip. So all these will go to one side, and if someone else wants to have a go at making a glass kind of border or a glass bed or something like that, they're more than welcome to. Definitely more work getting these out than I thought it was going to be. A little bit tired. But just so satisfying to be working on this new plot. I absolutely love it. I'm just in one of those moods today where everything feels right. Every time I wander past the greenhouses as well, I can look in and see the seedlings, and it's just so good. Well, the weather didn't start out good today, folks, but it has only gotten worse and worse. I started off by just putting all of those glass bottles into a builder's bag, and I was like, yeah, this will be fine. I can just drag these to the skip. And then it really started raining, and I thought, well, the cardboard's getting wet, so it'll make taking all this sellotape off easier. And I tell you what, when people advocate for no dig, they don't tell you how long it's gonna take, you know, getting all the sellotape off. I spend an awful lot of time doing that, but it's one of those things. It's got to be done, and it should make the whole thing much easier in the long run. But you can see here, I'm looking pretty miserable in the rain. So if you feel like cheering me up, remember to like and subscribe below, and check out my Patreon as well if you want to see some of the benefits there. And an extra special thank you to, well, all of my patrons. Honestly, it means so much. It's so good. I can put out so much more content since I started that Patreon. Hopefully you've seen I've gone from about 1 video a week, if I was lucky, to definitely kind of 2, 3, 4 videos a week, and I'm just absolutely loving it. So yeah, special thank you to all of my patrons, and an extra special thank you to my Chili Pepper tier patrons, Tony, Louise, Bill, and Michael. What I'm going to do now is have a spot of lunch, and hopefully the weather will cheer up a little bit, and then I can show you what I've actually been up to and all this stuff that I've pulled from the plot. There's still a few things on there that I wanted to show you because I've looked at them and gone, oh no, what am I going to do? I just don't really think the weather is going to get any better, so we'll just go for it. And you can see there is cardboard absolutely everywhere, and I know it looks a bit chaotic, but I'm just letting it out basically to get nice and damp, because it's going to make it so much easier to put that on the new plot. Oh, it's getting wet, but let's quickly have a look. So timber, I found absolutely loads. This is a mixture of kind of by the front gate on the way in, but also on the new plot, and the idea is that I can use this to make the new raised bed in the greenhouse eventually, when I eventually get around to doing that. But it is just amazing how much rubbish an allotment can generate at such a small area. I've got here some polycarbonate, some big polycarbonate that was given to me when I was looking at trying to fix the greenhouse. Loads and loads of off-cut glass and a few shattered bits from where we had some mistakes. This is almost entirely tape from various bits of cardboard. There's also some bubble wrap. Unfortunately, all of this, right, I know I'm going to get comments saying, you could reuse that, you could do this, you could do that, and it's not going in the bin unless I absolutely cannot think of a way to use it. But that that bubble wrap has been out in the sun for far too long. It's all kind of degraded, and it's just going to shred. Just assorted rubbish. Oh no, I've done it, haven't I? We've got another Waitrose bag in a video. In here, I mean, you can't really see it because there's a big bit of roofing felt on top, but that is all plastic that I've dug out of various bits of soil. This is quite a nice find on the new plot. There's a nice little thing full of pots and trays and all that kind of stuff. You can never have too many of those, so that's good. This I'm actually going to keep. That is a bit of tarp, and it looks like it's still got good integrity, but that is going, it's a bit of rubbish. And this is where it's all going. We're going to fill it into this builder's bag, which is currently got some carpet in, which I'm finally getting rid of. I'm really glad about. I've had that since I first took on this plot, it was buried in somewhere around here, and I've only ever just used it to kind of pop on top of the compost, but it's just absolutely rubbish. Let me go and show you what I was talking about on the new plot that made me go, oh no, oh dear. Over here, you'll recall this builder's bag that I've showed a few times. And I thought this was going to be, I don't know what I thought it was going to be, but I thought it was going to be rubbish. That's what I thought it was going to be, mostly plastic. And in fact, there's loads of soil and plastic in here. And it's really, really, really bloody heavy. There's also about 10,000 snails. Suffice to say, quite a lot of work here and a bit annoying. I don't know what's in there. I'm going to assume lots of weeds and horrible things that have been pulled out that I don't want to then spread throughout the plot. So that's something else for me to do. One thing, well, we've got in here as well, this old thing is just full of what is probably weeds once again. So I'm going to probably tip that out somewhere and just hide that. Look at this. Diced tomatoes. That's quite cool. Something about Greece. Anyway, it looks like it's been used for fires and that kind of thing, but I think they've just used it as a makeshift composter. And then over here, we've had a really interesting little find. Quite happy with this. I just thought this was going to be kind of empty or rubbish, but we've actually got a selection of tools that have been left behind, which is always nice. And more importantly, enough hose pipe to get all the water from the taps all the way over to this plot, which is something I have been thinking about. So it's just too rainy to continue, I think. It really is horrible, but hopefully you've enjoyed, and hopefully I will be back very soon with another update. If this video was a little bit short and you're looking for a bit more, I'll put another video that you can watch here. Oh, it really is horrible. Thank you ever so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time.